I've driven countless roads at night, but there's one stretch of highway I avoid at all costs. Not because of potholes or poor lighting, but because of what happened one night when I made the mistake of picking up a stranger. It was around 2 a.m., the witching hour, when the world feels eerily still. My eyes were heavy, and the rhythmic hum of the tires against the lonely asphalt was lulling me into a trance. The towering trees that lined the road swayed gently, whispering secrets I wasn't meant to hear. As the fog thickened, making the darkness even more suffocating, I thought about pulling over for some rest. That's when I saw her. She stood there barefoot on the side of the road. Her white dress clung to her frail frame, soaked from the mist. Long, dark hair veiled her face, making it impossible to see her clearly. She wasn't waving for help or holding a sign. She just stood there, perfectly still, as if waiting for someone. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to keep driving, but my hands betrayed me. I slowed down, my headlights illuminating her pale skin. I lowered my window, my voice barely steady. "Need a ride?" She slowly raised her head. Her eyes were glassy, devoid of life, yet they seemed to pierce right through me. Without a word, she opened the back door and slipped inside. "Where are you heading?" I asked, forcing a smile. Her voice was a barely audible whisper, chilling in its softness. "Just drive. I'll let you know when to stop." A cold shiver ran down my spine. I pressed the gas pedal, trying to ignore the rising dread in my chest. The silence in the car was unbearable. I glanced at her through the rearview mirror. She sat unnaturally still, her hands folded delicately in her lap. She had no belongings, no phone, nothing. "You okay back there?" I asked, hoping to break the tension. No answer. Moments later, she spoke, her voice barely louder than the wind outside. "Do you know what happens to those who drive this road at night?" I forced a chuckle. "No, but I bet you're going to tell me." Her head tilted slightly, a sinister hint in her tone. "They vanish. They pick up the wrong passenger." My knuckles turned white as I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "Well, you don't seem dangerous," I joked nervously. No response, just an unsettling stare through the mirror. Then I noticed her reflection flicker. Her face darkened, her eyes turning into endless black voids. Her mouth moved silently, whispering something I couldn't hear. Panic surged through me. My breath quickened. My heart pounded violently. I slammed on the brakes. Hard. The car screeched to a stop. I spun around. She was gone. No door had opened. No sound of footsteps. Nothing. A delicate piece of white fabric fluttered on the seat where she had been. Next to it, a crumpled note with shaky handwriting. "Never pick up strangers on this road. I didn't survive. You might not either." I sped off, adrenaline coursing through my veins, and didn't stop until I reached the next town. When I shared my story, an old local shook their head slowly. "That road," they whispered. "A girl died there years ago, hit by a driver who never stopped. She waits for someone to take her home, but no one ever can." I never took that road again. If you're ever out driving late at night and see a young woman by the roadside, no matter how lost she looks, don't stop. Some roads are better left traveled alone.